What's up, guys? I'm Jesse.
And I'm Afton, and this is the Much Podcast.
We are back again, and we are officially wrapping up Ecclesiastes today.
Yes, and what a way to wrap it up. So, I'm excited. But before we get started, what is your much moment? And if you're new to listening, we take a few minutes just to tell you about something good, positive.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Yeah, a little fun tidbit.
That's our much moment, and we're bringing it to you right now.
So, last night, yesterday actually, we had our football fundraiser for the year, which is like before season, but I am very involved in our Little League football program. Voluntold a long time ago, and now it's just like part of what I do. So that is all wrapped up before season. I do a lot of the fundraising stuff, or at least help with it heavily, and so to have that cross off the list, which is very exciting because now my sole focus can be our women's conference, which is in under a month, which is wild. But
Can that be my much moment?
sure, that can be yours.
My much moment can be everyone. Please come and
Yes.
attend our
Will
women's
this be
conference.
out before women's conference though?
Yes, absolutely.
It will. Are you sure?
Yes, it will. August 8th, and it's going to be at the Hill, Stockton.
It will
And-
post on the 3rd. So you'll have 5 days to sign up when you
Yes.
listen to this
so
episode.
make sure that you join us because it's going to be an awesome time of worship,
Mhm.
fellowship, and it's all going to be the ladies. So
This is wild too because last year our women's conference was really the kickstart for our podcast.
it was, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it whenever after it's over. But yes, it was.
It was such a high, like it was.
Yes,
it was pinnacle. But I feel like coming out of that, we knew like
There was something more.
something was going to happen. It was also interesting too to hear from how many people like you and Afton worked really well together, like hosting. We just kind of like bounce off of each other, and so yeah, here we are.
Basically, we were made to be in these chairs together.
Yes, we were.
Yes.
We were.
All right, let's get it kicked off. So we're going to be talking about Ecclesiastes 10 through 12.
Yep.
And the main theme here is living wisely and faithfully in the light of uncertainty, aging, death, and eternity.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a
this is kind of
a morbid
sad
episode.
We're talking about
Yeah.
a little bit about
Yeah.
mortality, but it shouldn't be sad, right?
Yeah, but
Um,
it's a good gut check on like how should we be living knowing that life is so temporary, and we all know that. Like we all will face death. We all have experiences with death, whether that's a loved one or a friend. But yeah, how should we be living?
or even just like, not even a friend, but
Yeah.
like just like, have you ever had
Seeing
like,
it,
yes,
like yeah,
especially if you're like, you watch the news. And,
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you can't. It's evident. It's just like some of those just really
yeah,
hit you.
yes. So
But
how should we
death
be
is
living
the
out
great
here?
equalizer in Ecclesiastes.
Yes.
So, invest in what is invest in what has eternal value. Okay, say that again. What did you ask me?
Oh, I was just saying, how should we be living out here in the streets? In the streets.
In the street. Well, I didn't
small town.
I didn't grow up in the streets.
Small town Missouri.
Small town Missouri. How does remembering our mortality change our priorities? Is that better?
That's a better question.
Yeah. I think on this one, so good. It does change. If you truly think about your mortality, it does change your priorities in a way that is different. Because if you think about it day to day, most of us aren't thinking about death 24/7. I mean, I actually have been in those seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not normal.
No. No.
No.
I have to pray my way
Yeah.
out of those seasons.
Yeah,
Like,
it's definitely not normal. And so, obviously, we're not thinking about that 24/7. But, so it's easy to kind of, like, our priorities are our day-to-day things, you know? Like, that's just what we're doing.
Yep.
And I think number one is we have to stop chasing what won't last.
That's good.
I think that's the biggest thing
Yeah.
out of all of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to spend our lives accumulating things and pursuing that. We've talked about all this. We've talked about climbing the next ladder. But when we truly remember that our days are numbered, we begin asking questions like, will this really matter in 10 years?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that?
Yes.
Will this really matter in eternity? I always think that. Like, I look back, someone yesterday had messaged me and asked about something from 2022. And I was like,
Huh?
I forgot about 2022. What
Yeah.
are you talking
When
about
did
right
that
now?
happen?
But it does. It feels
Yeah.
like it's just like, it's like a blink.
Yep.
But I find myself asking myself those questions, especially in difficult seasons. It's like, what
Yep.
is, where, like, in 5 years, is this really going to matter? I tell people that too. Like, if they're going through struggling with something, they're going through, you know, whatever it might be, like, thinking about, okay, but in 5 years, I tell my kids this, especially Asia at this age. She is going to be a junior, and I say a lot of times, I've told her this a lot in the last 2 months, you know, after you're out of school, like, you're not going to think about this, Asia. It's just not something you're going to think about. You know, it's not something you're going to ponder on.
Yeah.
And although she doesn't quite understand that now, give her a couple years, and when she's out living her life, she's going to be like, why did I even worry about that?
Oh, yeah. It's so true. And I feel like my example was going to be pretty similar. Like, I've given advice to, like, high school girls, like, whether that's nieces, cousins, just, like, friends' daughters, that I'm like, I know you think this is, like, the biggest deal right now. Like, your world is falling apart. So-and-so is mad at you. There's all this drama, whatever. But I'm like, what you're going to realize is in 5 years, you're not even going to talk to these people. Right. They're not going to be your friends. Like, this is not going to determine the outcome of your life. It's not that big of a deal. But even having been a high school girl before, you're like, but it is that big of a deal. It's like, do you know how many people from my high school that I still, like, talk to? Like, probably 3. Like, their opinion of you is not going to matter.
Yeah, and I also think even in the season of life, I think of people that it's, you know, as we age, we obviously should grow wisdom. So if I'm looking at myself as I'm actually, this episode will be aired and I will be 40.
The last one is 39.
I'm 40 now. Someone that's 60 that's telling me, that's pouring into me, which is going to have such a different outlook than I do at 40. And the things that I'm worried about at 40, they're going to be like, oh, don't even worry about that. Or they're going to say, hey, you need to just be present in this moment because you're going to miss this or whatever it is. Yep. And so I think that's just all of us. You know what I mean? Now, as we grow older, I feel like I tend to care a little bit less about what people think as much.
Yep.
I say that was so stupid because I actually care. That's probably one of my biggest things is I really do care about what a lot of people think.
I don't.
I used not to.
No, I mean I do. Okay, I care about still being like a Christian example. I care about like in general how people feel about my character, and I do get, like, even at work this week there were some times where I was very upset at work, and I'd even spoken to my boss about it because people were questioning, like, I don't want to use the word like my authority, but people were questioning, like, things that I was asking them to do or to do with them. And he's like, don't take it so personal. And I'm like, but it is personal. Like, I care about that, but I'm also not the kind of person that is like, oh, Afton said XYZ about me. Well, this is what I think about her. Like, I feel like I've gotten bolder as I've gotten older, to where I'm like, I will just go to you and be like, hey, Afton, what are you mad about?
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
I don't have time to
I agree with that versus
beat around the bush.
Right.
Like, just tell me what you're upset about and we can figure it out, because I'm not, like, it's not okay for you to question my character or what I'm trying to do, vice versa. I'm like, so just tell, what are you mad about? And it was interesting this week because both times I did that, they weren't even actually mad at me. They were mad about something else, but they chose me as like the punching bag for.
You were the target.
And so my boss was like, don't take it personal. It actually wasn't personal, but I was like.
And actually, probably 9 times out of 10, it isn't personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really isn't.
But I was like,
people aren't even thinking that. But
yeah.
I think we tend, as we get older, we tend to be less. We tend to care less about what, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. About what people think, especially when they're. I would say whenever they're younger, too. Like you're just like, okay, like I get what you're saying. I felt like that too, but. And then we go on to 2. I'm going to go on to 2 because I actually had talking about this. We were talking about, where were we at? So how does remembering our mortality change our priorities? We stop chasing what won't last. And then 2, we value people more than possessions. Mm-hmm. No one reaches the end of life wishing they had spent more time at the office or accumulated more stuff.
That's so true.
Instead, they think about the people they love, the lives they influence, the memories they made, and the legacy they leave behind. And I was such a good... Birthdays are a great way to reminisce on stuff. So this last... My husband had all these pictures from my life.
Mm-hmm. Afton just had a surprise party.
Yeah.
Did we mention that on this episode?
Not on this, but
okay.
Before this.
For context.
Yes. And he had all these, and I, 300 and some pictures, and as I'm taking them down, I'm just thinking of just this life that I've lived. All these pictures are I'm talking from day 0 to, and it just makes you think man, this is what truly matters. These people that are in this building, the people that are here.
Plus me, because I...
Plus Jesse and the other 10 people that text me. It's a busy time of year, and that's what matters most is the people, not the possessions. But honestly, and I'm a huge believer of that, because if you know me, I'm gonna make a memory wherever I go, and there's lots of them. So I love making memories. I love going on adventures. I love it. If you ask me to go somewhere, and if you guys, this is for you all, if you ask me to go somewhere, on vacation, I'm going to say absolutely yes. I'm not even going to, second guess it. Okay. You like that, though?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Back on track.
Yeah. Mortality reminds us that relationships are one of the God's greatest gifts. Okay, and then 3... we become more willing to forgive.
Yeah.
So good. How, if you think of someone that is dying in front of you, this might sound kind of morbid, but if you think about, and maybe some of you have been with a loved one that that you hold, or a friend that you hold a lot of bitterness and anger toward, but if they were to be on their deathbed, how and maybe I'm kind of weird because I do think of stuff like this, and put it in perspective. How would I feel? What would my feelings be?
You'd be so much more willing and ready and able to forgive.
Yeah,
knowing you don't have time to make amends later.
Yep, because we remember that our mortality gives perspective. Absolutely. So petty arguments become smaller. Mm-hmm. Pride becomes harder to justify. and grace becomes easier to extend. And I think
that's great.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
I thought I'm actually liking this better than I thought. I was a little worried.
We're going to go down a dark path.
Yes. And then 4, we become more faithful than famous.
That's really good.
And this one deeply speaks to people that are, I would say, performers.
Yep.
I don't remember what the performer is.
Me.
Oh, you're the performer.
It's me.
She's the performer. So,
you're speaking to me right now.
It's easy to think our legacy depends on how many people know our name.
Yep.
But Ecclesiastes reminds us that even kings are eventually forgotten. And it's so true. And the better question isn't, will people remember me? It's, was I faithful to what God entrusted to me? Faithfulness will always outlast fame.
Yeah.
So, love that.
That's so good. Yeah.
And then, sorry, I just keep going on. 5. This is the last one, kind of, on this. It's, we treasure today. And I love this. And I think about this, like, I actually try to do this. People would probably look at my life and say, you do this pretty well. I'm not trying to, like, pat my back, but thank you. Ecclesiastes repeatedly encourages us to enjoy the simple gifts. Just it's a day by day. Treasure your day today.
Yeah.
A meal, a meeting for friendships, family. Treasure that today. Make the best of it.
Yeah.
Go out and do something fun today.
Smell the roses.
That's right. It's Sunday here. It's not really Sunday.
It
is Sunday here, but like you're watching, it's Monday.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Sunday here. And so, it's Monday for you, but guess what?
Yep.
Monday blues has no room.
And I try to teach this to my kids. Although it is hard, it is very easy to forget all the things that you truly have to be thankful for. So when I put my kids to bed, and we read a Bible story, and then I'm always like, what are you thankful for today? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, we can list some things. We're thankful that we have a home. And right now in Missouri, we have air conditioning, and we have food, and we have clothing, and we have a pool in the backyard. And, I just start naming all these things that it's like, there are people who don't have these things. Like
You're so much nicer than me.
But it's true, and you forget. And then when I lay down every night, as I'm like trying to like clear my head of the day, I'm always praying, and I'm just like, God, just thank you for this day. Like, thank you for the sunshine, and for the ability to come home to my family and to have a meal, and like all these little things that you so easily like overlook. But it's like so many people don't have those luxuries.
Yeah, it's so true. And I love that. I love that you do it so gracefully. Because there was a time in my life I did not do it like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I read this book. I don't know why I'm off this topic. See, I'm getting all over squirrel. But it's like, I read this book about never guilting your kids. Like, you should never guilt your kids. And like, in that way, you're not guilting your kids.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what are you thankful for? Because sometimes I'd be like, there are people that are starving right now.
Yeah.
Eat your food.
And you just threw away that good hot dog.
Yeah. There are people that don't,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yes.
is. And
Yes.
so I quit doing that, so I love how you put that.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Like,
It's just
what
like
are
a
you
different
thankful
perspective.
for?
Yeah. Because kids, and again, this is like squirrel is way off. But because kids get everything given to them, it's so easy for them to be like, this is just like a normal thing. And it's like, no.
And I'm the
no.
first to say that.
Yeah.
I give, like, you give your kids you're probably just as bad as me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And so, no, I love that.
What point are we at?
We got way off. Spiritual commitments. We're going to talk about spiritual commitments. Why do we often delay the spiritual commitment? So you think about your commitment daily. Think about all the commitments you have. Typically, a lot of people, their last commitment is their spiritual life. Yeah. Like whatever it is, reading your Bible, being in your word, going to church, going to a hill group, going to whatever it is, meeting with a friend that so desperately needs just someone to talk to, we put that off.
Yeah.
And so I think, why do we often delay that? I think, one, here are my points again, but you go first, because
Mine was just very simple, and I think a lot of my delaying in spiritual commitments is waiting for like the perfect opportunity or the perfect moment or the perfect conditions to do something. So even the other night, I usually like to do like my quiet time in the mornings when no one else in the house is awake. I can literally sit down and have like legit quiet time. And sometimes the morning is just different and I don't get that opportunity. So the other night I was in my bedroom trying to have quiet time, and I'm like, had my Bible out, I'm getting ready, and here comes my son, and he wants to do blah blah blah, and the TV's on in the other room, and I'm like my mind is like, and it's so easy to just be like, okay, like quiet time's obviously not going to happen today because it's not actually quiet and there's all this stuff going on. But it's like, if you're always waiting for the perfect moment to take action and to do what you're supposed to be doing, then those moments are going to be very few and far between.
And they're going to pass right by.
And so sometimes my son comes in when I'm having quiet time, and he's like, I want to read the Bible with you. And of course I'm not going to be like, no, get out, it's my quiet time. So instead I'm like sitting there and I'm like, maybe Ecclesiastes isn't the best one to read because it's like, you know, death is coming to all of it. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll sit there and read to him and be like, this is what this means, you know. But in some moments, it's not like, it's never going to be that perfect situation. Even like sharing the gospel with somebody or starting a podcast or anything. Like,
right.
If you're always waiting for it to be perfect, it's not going to be.
Never going to be perfect. Also, too, I mean, there are other times where it lines up and you're like, oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, that's not how it goes.
Not usually.
I think something good, too, is like we assume tomorrow is guaranteed.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest illusions we live in is I'll get serious about God later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll have time to do that later.
I'll have time to do that later. I'll have time to get better. I lived like this for years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where I'm like, oh, well, you know, I'm fine. And honestly, like those saying it out loud, that haunts me.
I will say one that like is really big for me, and I know that this is going to speak to somebody because this was me for years, is I was waiting on my husband, so I wouldn't go to church because I didn't want to go by myself and with 2 kids and be there by myself. Like, I don't know anybody here. I don't want to sit by myself. That's awkward. I don't want to show up in this new place, whatever. So for years, I waited on my husband. Like, okay, well, if he wants to go, I'll go. But if he doesn't, then I guess we just won't go this week. And this went on, this cycle, for years. And finally, I'm like, you know what? My children's faith is more important to me than my own embarrassment for being, like, by myself. Or, seeming embarrassment for being by myself. It's more important for me, for my kids to know God, than for my own pride or my own, you know, perfect family scenario. And so I just started going on my own. Sometimes my husband comes with me, sometimes he doesn't. But you know what? That's never going to keep me and my kids from not being in a pew anymore. So some of it is like, you assume at some point it's going to be different. But if I made that assumption forever, I would still probably not be going to church. Like,
and I love that about Jesse, because it is such a testament to other women, because there are so many other women that are like that. And, you know, nobody wants to show up and have, not that it's a, I think, you know, people, you feel like people are talking about you because you're there.
Yeah.
They assume, people that don't know you, oh, is she single?
Yeah.
You know, she's not. But that's going to speak to so many women, Jesse, because I feel like so many women are in that predicament right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, when my husband gets, you know, where he wants to go to church all the time, then I'll do it. Yeah. And that's, you know, you're basing your decision on.
Yeah. It came down to like my faith cannot be dependent on my husband's actions.
That's so good. Oh, can we Can you put that on?
Quote that somewhere.
Can we put that on a bumper sticker?
But it's so true that
it can't be dependent on
many,
anyone.
Yeah, it can't be dependent on somebody else.
But especially, I just know how hard that would be, being your one, being your partner, and just knowing that, hey, having that strength to just be like, no, like that's harder than just some normal, like some person, some friend.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend doesn't go to church, but no, this is my partner. This is my...
And like, biblically, the man is supposed to be the leader of the household. Like, he's supposed to lead the family spiritually. And so it is not my role to step into that. But if my husband isn't going to, then this family is still going to know who God is. Yeah, and whether he's doing what he's supposed to or not.
And that'll preach right there, because there are women that need to hear that. And I was in that. I mean, my husband always would go to church, but he was not the spiritual. He didn't grow up in church. He was not the spiritual leader. Yeah. And so being that for so long, and then having him take that role, that was quite the change. And, and so you know, that's coming. Yeah. I know that's coming for a lot of you out there that are watching, that are in that, like, my thing too is don't give up hope. Yeah. Don't keep praying, because my husband is a spiritual leader. He is doing all the things now that I never thought that I prayed for and I prayed for. So don't ever give up. Don't ever give up on your spouse, because God can do miraculous things. Yep. And
you just have to have that faith that, like, if you truly do believe, then I know and I believe that he can and will change my husband. Yeah. And if not, if I live my whole life and it never changes, my kids still know who God is because of me taking them, not because I was waiting on him. Yeah. Like,
that's so good. So I love that. Yeah.
That was a way squirrel conversation, but it's someone needed to hear that.
Yes. Where are we at now? So we want so how does remembering our, we're still on question 1. How does remembering our mortality change our priorities? And I'm going to go through these really quick, these other things. We become distracted by temporary things. Mm-hmm. Life is full of good things, right? But we can crowd out the best things. So good things that can crowd out the best things are work, success, family, ministry even. Mm-hmm. We talked about that, entertainment, money. Or 3, we want control. Following God often requires surrender. And surrender can feel very, very risky. And we think we have plenty of time, of course. We talked about that as well. We assume tomorrow is not guaranteed. That kind of goes along with that. And, you know, Solomon's warning in Ecclesiastes 12, he isn't saying older people can't come to God. He's saying it's easier to build a life on God than to spend years building it on something else and then try to rebuild later. So every day we delay is a day we miss walking closely with him. And I like to say every day that we delay, there's someone out there that is, this is going to sound, there's someone out there that's going to hell. And we might have been the change for them. And that's what turns my, like, I could be the stumbling. I could either make or break it for someone else. Yeah. And same for anyone. Anybody that's a disciple, same thing.
That's really good.
Okay, let's see. What else? I'm still on that question, but I'm not going to keep going on it. I had a lot on that one. So, what does it look like to enjoy God's gifts without worshiping them?
It's an idol can be made out of anything. Mm-hmm. So a lot of like what Solomon talks about, he does talk about like enjoying the pleasures that we have in life and the gifts that God gives us, but those should never take the place of God. So even if you're like Solomon, you have the world is at your feet. You had money, you had possessions, you had wisdom, you had anything a man could desire. Just knowing that all of those could be an idol, but to not allow them to be the most important thing in your life, because when you get to the end, you can't take any of those things with you. They all stay here.
I'm sitting here looking at my phone thinking, this right here, I love this. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
My phone is a good thing. It has good things on it. I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do 20 years ago with a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Great technology. But it becomes an idol when I'm using this to distract myself from the things that God is putting forth. And you can kind of gauge that by how much time you spend on something.
Yeah.
Like where your time is, that's where normally
your heart is.
Yes. So
yeah.
that's so good, and I love that. And we can be worshiping it with not even knowing.
Yep.
Not even knowing.
Not even realizing.
So not realizing it. So good.
An interesting question for anyone would be, where's your phone? It's probably right here within hand's reach, but where's your Bible? Some people probably know where their Bible is. Some people are probably like,
it's on my phone.
I haven't seen that in years. Or I
Yeah.
don't even have one. Like, that's the reality of the world that we live in.
It's good. And I also think, too, that can be good things. That's like I said, a phone can be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise can be a great thing, but obviously I've seen people take exercise too far.
Yeah, too much. It becomes an idol.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, it's definitely not my idol.
I was going to say, not mine either.
But I could honestly see where
Yeah.
it could become that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For someone like me that's dives all in.
Yeah, you just get obsessed
I need to dive more.
with learning and with figuring out what you like and all of that.
Okay, Jesse. Jessa Joe. This is going to be such a fun episode.
Like, I thought you guys said this was going to be a sad episode.
I
We
know,
were like
I did
laughing the
say
whole
that.
time.
It's fun.
It's actually not morbid at all.
It's not. And I have this funny, like, running joke that me and my best friend, and it makes me think of it. Have you ever seen those memes? This is so off track, what we're talking about. But my best friend from high school just met up with her. Shout out to my best friend from high school, Jenny O.
Jenny from the block.
And we used to have this running joke, like, if we were to sit together at a funeral, we would probably laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would not be able to, and that is so morbid.
Yeah.
But I feel like this episode, you know what? There can be a lot to be learned in death. Right?
There can. Afton wanted to have a whole episode about death. What was the thing you kept saying? Okay, because in Ecclesiastes 3, it said, for everything there's a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die. And you were like, funerals really teach you a lot, and we should be going to funerals.
I was going to say that earlier. That's what I was going to say. We are so one today.
We're on it.
We're on it. So, yes, I said that earlier, that we should, like, funerals are actually great things to go to, because they teach you about the brevity, how do I say that?
Brevity? I thought you said
that?
it right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's
I
a
did.
big word.
I
Look
know, right?
at
I just
that.
popped that out. Of life. And not many people think of it like that, but it really does. Like, if you think about it, there's those times where you're like, wow, this week's been really hard, and like, because I went to this funeral or I went to that, and maybe you're going through that now, but like, looking at it as it does, how many people, or how many, let me ask you this, if you went to a funeral and one that's really stuck out in your mind, that's actually changed the way you think. Like that season of your life, man, that funeral really, that changed me. Like, I can think of several funerals that I've been to, or celebration of life, or whatever you want to call them, that have just like been like, that wrecked me, but not in a way, like, wrecked me in a good way.
Yeah.
And so I just encourage you with that, even though that's not the most encouraging thing people want to hear.
Yes.
But I like that we can, look at it like that. I mean,
You would think I would think, I'll just speak for myself, that if I was to die, that people would go to my funeral and they would get to hear the gospel and like hear about my life, but that they would leave changed, or they would leave inspired by like, look at everything that, not like she did, but look like at her ministry or the people that she affected, and how can I be more like that?
Yeah, that's the legacy that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
So what legacy do you want to leave? What, and do you want people coming to you, showing up at a funeral that they go away with wondering, man, I just don't know. Or do you want them to say, man, I want to be like, I want to strive to be like her in this area, or him in this area. Man, he just loved the Lord so much, or whatever it might be. Okay, next question. How do we take risk, right?
Yeah.
And make decisions when outcomes are uncertain? It's a tough one, especially for control freaks. Especially just for me, like just trying to weigh the risk. It's hard to weigh that risk of my flesh versus spirit.
Yeah.
Because, like, it just is.
Yeah, like, it is. It is. And there's always these thoughts too, like, even let's use the podcast for example.
Mm-hmm. Will people listen?
Will people listen? Will it speak to anybody? Like, will people think we're crazy
will
or
people
stupid?
Be able to,
or
I can't believe they posted that because that sounded absolutely terrible. Cut. I'm sorry.
But if that was the case, then no one would start one, and no one would have a ministry, and no one would have a first time doing,
so good.
any of the things, because you're afraid to take the risk. So good.
And you were never promised certainty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You were invited to faithfulness.
Yeah.
So and we weren't. When we started this podcast, it's a good way to look at it. We were never promised viewers.
No.
We were never
and
promised.
If you're watching this, we thank you for the one.
We were never promised people to like us. We were never promised any of the things that we think in our mind are.
Yeah.
We were promised nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
We were obedient.
Just choosing to be obedient. Yeah. And if there's anything with ministry and with certainty, usually when you're called to something, it's not going to be something that is comfortable. Usually you're going to be called to something that is uncomfortable or out of the realm of things that you would typically do, but he's calling you to take a step in faith.
Yeah.
And so even us being crazy and starting a podcast and Afton's mom's she shed.
And I want to say she shed.
The she shed.
I want to say too, like, I'm really bad about. I'm actually really bad about, like, I do this. I'm a pretty adventurous person, and I like new things and I dream new things, so that kind of is easy. But there are hard things for me too. Like, it's just a different aspect of hard. So if someone asks me to do something that I absolutely do not want to do, I would tell you I'm absolutely not ever going to do that. Never say that.
That's true.
Never say that.
Never say never.
Because, and this is what we talked about.
Is that a Justin Bieber song?
Is it?
Never say never?
I don't listen to that secular music.
I don't know.
Just kidding.
Called out. Okay.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast?
Is that one of the songs?
I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyways. What was I saying? Oh, we were talking about spiritual leaders and how, like, your husband and everything. Yeah. And so, like, my husband's been great at, like if you're one, and when you're both connected, I feel like he can discern those things as well. So, if he says, I think we need to do this, and he's spiritually sound, then I'm probably going to pray about it, but I'm probably going to just say, okay, I trust you, even though I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But that was a tidbit for anyone that's married. And if you're on the brink of making a really tough decision, maybe that'll help you.
Okay. So what does it mean to fear God and keep his commandments practically today?
Go ahead. I'm trying to think of that Justin Bieber song.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. I'm kidding.
Baby, baby. See, you do know.
How can you walk in the mall and not hear one? Okay, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm. She'd be listening. She's a believer.
Okay. I was just teasing about that. What does fear God and keep his commandments mean practically today? Did you just ask that question?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, perfect. This is the final count. It's the
final
countdown. So
okay.
after
We're really Alani's kicking in.
This is unsweet tea. Really kicking in. Okay. So this is the final conclusion of Ecclesiastes. After exploring pleasure, wealth, wisdom, work, success, relationships, Solomon ends with these words: fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of mankind. Mm-hmm. So what does that look like practically today? So, one, this is so good because someone that has struggled with anxiety, fear tends to take over in a lot of situations. Fear is literally the devil.
Yeah.
It is, I hate fear. But fear God means living with reverence, not terror.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's a difference. There's
like
a
being
difference.
in awe.
And I've learned this kind of and I've had I've had counseling on people that I trust have counseled me a little bit on this, and how do you discern fear of God versus fear, that terror fear?
Yeah.
And so learning that biblically, fearing God isn't about being afraid that he's waiting to punish us.
Yeah.
Which is that's whenever I get in my head, that's what I think. It's about recognizing who he is.
Yes.
It's living with the awareness, that God is holy, he's sovereign, he's worthy of trust, and my obedience and my life belongs to him. So when we fear God, his opinion matters more than anyone else's. Yeah. And there's a difference. So if you're fearing something, if you're fearing God and you're terrified that he's gonna come strike you down.
Yeah, that's not
not and
the same.
I have been there.
Yeah.
I have been there. And honestly, that is just there's a difference between condemnation and, oh man, what was the other word I was gonna go with there?
I know what you're trying to say.
Oh, it's gonna bug me. Move along. Answer the question in the chat, what I was trying to say there. But anyways, there is a difference between there's fearing God and fearing
and having a fear of
the
God.
terror.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's good to know. Good to point out.
2. Check. Keep his commandments means obedience flowing from love. So good. Choosing what's right whenever choosing honesty when you want to lie.
Yeah.
Forgiving when you feel justified.
That's hard.
Serving when no one notices. Hey, shout out to anyone that cleans the toilets. Seriously.
Yeah, I did that today, so thank you.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Or the people that serve backstage.
Yeah.
Giving generously, pursuing purity, loving loving difficult people.
Oh, yeah.
And spending time with God like it's not an obligation.
Oh, that's a good
one.
one.
That's hard. 3, put God at the center of everyday decisions.
My fly was unzipped.
Are you putting God at all the center of everyday decisions?
And that one is hard too because I feel like we're so impulsive to make decisions and even big decisions without being let me pray about that. Even committing to something simple do you want to be a part of the football program? probably should have prayed about that first.
This is what affects me too. This one's hard for me. How put God at the center of everyday decisions. That is how we spend our money.
Oh,
Every
that's why
purchase,
you gotta add it to the Amazon cart.
every
and let it
purchase
sit there.
you make, you need to be. Sorry, I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Thinking about what I bought this weekend. I did pretty good. Asking Lord what would honor you in this situation.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
would
good
this
one.
honor you?
So a lot of times I act out of anger and all the
Would
things.
this fried chicken honor you? Probably not.
The batteries. Wait. Does that say
What?
12 minutes?
I don't know. But
I can't read that far.
Where?
The top right corner. Oh, see, it went yellow again. Okay, we're
4
gonna
minutes.
have to wrap this up.
Okay. And trust God more than yourself. Okay? So we got that. You don't always understand everything, but you trust the one who does. The
Yes.
posture changes how we face uncertainty, disappointment, and success. So our takeaway today is a meaningful life is found not in controlling the future, but in
Nope.
trusting God, enjoying his gifts, and living faithfully before him. Guys, if you liked this episode, we want you to like,
Share,
subscribe,
comment,
all the things.
give us feedback.
Give us feedback today because we are just thankful that you're here and that you're listening. We love you guys. And guess what? You were created for
Much, much
more. Much.